Hey, down here at Bull City Ministries, I've got David here who is willing to give us some of his story. And all I did was ask him if he was willing to do it. He said sure. And the hopes is that people will see what really goes on down here and to try to understand what it's like to be out here on the street. So at this time I'm gonna turn it over to David and put it on the book. So, hey David.
Hey.
Thank you for doing this, obviously. So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Okay, well, I'm 28 years old. I have been in Durham for a very long time, since I was in about 5th grade. And I've always known that I was homosexual. I got in a serious relationship when I was about 17, lasted about 5 years. In the middle of that relationship, I came to Holloway Street because I had, one thing had led to another, weed to coke, then it ended up getting to crack. So I was out here on Holloway Street at the age of around 18, and I started prostituting. And I know that's not really what the life of an 18-year-old should be, but I guess you could say that I learned at a young age that, like the street life. So I've been out here since I was about 18, on and off. I did leave one time for about 3 years and got clean, stayed clean. I went to Trosa, stayed there for about 9 months to get clean, and I stayed clean for a couple years after that. And then I came back. I've had my periods of sobriety, but they've never really lasted for long because my drug of choice is crack cocaine, so it just kind of like calls you. It just calls you. It's like, when you want it, you want it.
Tell me, if I may, just a second while you're talking, tell me about the progression part of it, because you said you started off with marijuana and it ended up over here in crack. So how does that work?
Well,
so marijuana is not all innocent like they say, right? I mean,
well, not in my case, it wasn't.
Right.
So in my case, I love weed. I love it. Like,
right.
If I could go back to just smoking weed, I would do it any day.
Right.
But the mind of a 16-year-old. When I started smoking weed, I was about 16. You're just curious. You're a very curious person. So I'd been smoking weed. I was working at Red Lobster. I met a friend, an old friend of mine. His name is Daniel. We no longer talk. And he introduced me to cocaine. I was living with him. We were staying together in a room in a boarding house. Like, we literally were like sleeping in the same room in the same bed. We were just best friends, but nothing was going on sexually. And I had left my boyfriend, for a little while. But it started off with just weed. Then he introduced me to cocaine, and we hung out with a lot of Mexicans. So we would always go to the clubs with the Mexicans and then go home with them afterwards and party with them. And there was this one case at night, well, obviously it was at night, but one night we went to this Mexican's house and they were sitting around a large round or oval table. There's about 10 of them. They were passing around a can and they were smoking out of it. And I was just very curious. I didn't know, it made them obviously feel good because they were like going under tables and picking the floor, and they were experiencing an extreme euphoria. So I asked one of them if I could try it, and Daniel begged me. He said no, don't do it, because he's done crack before too in his younger years. So he begged me, please don't do it. And I was like, I just want to do it just one time. Just one time, and I promise I'll never do it. I just want to know what it feels like. So I tried it just one time, and it was just a very crazy experience. The very, very first time I got high, I really don't even remember, how I felt or anything like that. One thing I can say about over the time that I've been doing crack is that you forget a lot.
Oh yeah.
I guess it comes from the many nights of just staying up for days and just passing out, or just, blacking out, just all the, obviously alcohol goes along with all these drugs, and you drink yourself into unconsciousness sometimes. Just, I guess, I don't really understand what it is. Maybe your brain just can't handle it.
Yeah.
So it just kind of like loses part of itself and it forgets a lot of things. I don't know, but a lot of the time, there's a lot of things out here that people tell me I've done and stuff, and I don't remember them. I'll just be like,
does that bother you?
Yeah, it really does, and it really bothers me that this is supposed to be a prime time in my life.
How old are you?
I'm 28, and like between the ages of 20 and 30, this should be like the funnest time of my life.
And it's not, is it?
It's not. I mean, no. The only thing fun about being out here is being on the crack, is hitting the crack, hitting it only. Coming down from it is not fun. Chasing it is not fun. The things that I have to do for it is not fun.
What are some of the things you have to do for it?
Well, I used to be a pretty female. So, I mean, I was already, I was transitioning to be a male to female before I got on crack. So I was young, and I was on hormones. So I was kind of passable at that time. So it was easy for me, in my experience, to throw on a dress and some heels and walk Holloway Street and make money. Because that's about the quickest way you're going to make money. I mean, I want to say legally, I know it's still illegal, but I mean, I'm not stealing from people, I'm not, harming people in any way. I'm just providing a service for quick money. Usually lasts about 5-10 minutes, and you're in the car and in and out in 5 minutes, 10 minutes at tops. Excuse me. So it's just been easiest for me to just prostitute to make my money. What was the question? Like,
what are some of the things you've had to do? What are some experience?
I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I haven't only just prostituted. I have stole from everybody I love.
Yeah.
I mean, whatever's quickest to get the quickest money. I've prostituted. I've stole from stores. I've boosted. I've stole from everyone I've loved. I've hurt everybody I've loved.
What does that do to you? Like, psychologically, I mean, when you sit there and say you've hurt everybody you've loved, how does that make you feel?
Makes me feel alone.
Alone. So you're alone out here.
I'm alone out here.
Yes.
I'm alone everywhere I go. My family's, we've hit a few rocks in the road, so we're not exactly on good terms. And it's just they're showing, just like Pastor Terry, they're showing me really tough love, because I guess they figure that if I have no one to turn to, maybe I'll just turn to God and, get my life back together. And it's getting to that point because I've been cut out of everybody's life.
Yeah.
When I was out here, my family had nothing to do with me. Now that I'm out here, my family still has nothing to do with me. And Pastor Terry used to be like one of the only people I could turn to for help and stuff. And now he's kind of like,
all right, that's enough.
Yeah, push me to the side. So it's kind of like I really, really, more than ever, I feel more alone. I feel so desolate and destitute. I feel like roadkill at this point in my life. I mean, it's really, really rough for me.
What's led you up to this point, do you think?
My own actions.
What I'm saying is, tell me about, like, some bad experiences you've had while prostituting, or your sleeping arrangements now. Because I heard when you came in, you said some of the things you're having to sleep in places that are infested. The things that you're having to go through because you're out here.
So I guess I'll just start off with like my sleeping arrangement, because everything else is going to take forever to explain. My sleeping arrangements have been rough this time around, also because I used to make so much money that I could get high and still like pay somebody $20 a night to stay in their house, or just rent a room somewhere, or it's usually been easier.
Right.
This time around, which has probably been about 3 or 4 months now. I've been here since about January. Probably 4 or 5 months now. Excuse me. It's been really rough. I've done everything from sleep on porches to under porches.
Wow.
To outside in the rain, covered up with wet covers in the cold. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking, but it's been rough. I've actually slept. I can say the two funniest places I've slept in was down on Driver Street at April Weaver's old house. They were doing some construction, and I slept in the porta potty a couple times.
Wow.
And I kind of like left clothes in there, and that was like my little changing room, kind of like my little place to live for like a week. And I slept in the old chicken coop behind her house.
Wow.
So I've slept in the chicken coop and a porta potty are definitely my two weirdest places I think I've ever slept in my life. I woke up every morning smelling like pee from the porta potty. It smelled so bad in there, I thought I was going to throw up every time I walked in there. I had to smoke a crack rock just when I walked in the door, just so I could not have to think about the pee smell, and I would just think about something else other than that. So as of right now, I'm kind of like staying at this. It's a really, really bad situation here also, because it's an older lady. And she's disabled. She can't walk very well. Something's happened to her. She's got a house. She's paid for, I guess, for her disability. And it's a 3-bedroom house. And she has another gay guy living with her up there that prostitutes and is dresses as a lady also. He does not do crack. He only smokes weed and does coke and a couple other things. I mean, whatever. We're not like best of friends.
Right.
And then there's another bedroom that's open. So I am sleeping. There's people in and out of there all times of the day, smoking weed with her. She's like a serious pothead. So
that's how she gets rent from people. Yeah.
No, that's how she smokes. She pays the rent out of her own money, and then smokes all day out of their money.
It's like a house.
Yeah, it's really rough. There's like no crack smoking there. I mean, I only smoke crack there because I pay her extra money to go to her bathroom for a little while and smoke.
Right.
But yeah, I've been sleeping on her kitchen floor with fleas and bed bugs. I've been eat up. I mean,
I see your arms.
Yeah, like it looks like I shoot heroin, honestly, and I don't. I'm scared of needles, but it bothers me because I wake up in the middle of the night at least 5 or 6 times just sitting there. I'll sit there for like 10 or 15 minutes just straight itching in one spot. And it's just disgusting. Like I was not raised like this, and I'm sick of living like this.
Right.
So hopefully my living arrangements get better soon. And then things that have happened to me since I've been out here.
Let's hold on for a second.